enter into a business, there's some great things that comes out of owning a business, but there's also some other things that we do. So we have two entrepreneurs here who have done tremendously well in their business, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to introduce them. I'm going to lead them. They know exactly what they're doing. So I'm going to introduce George, who owns Launchpad 516, right here in Long Island, and Patrick, who owns Compass and has done operations all over the world, and they're going to walk you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sure. Yes.
Can everybody hear me?
Good.
Hello. Okay, so George and I have the best, in my opinion, presentation for this breakout sessions, because this is where you're going to learn all of our failures and how our failures can become your successes. So this is a lot of years of work combined. I'm sure George has decades, and I know I have decades. And if you've ever, I try not to be older than this. So anyway, we're going to bring you through this, and I'm a little bit more structured. So anybody sat through the last one where it was a discussion, we're a little bit more structured, and I want to make sure we go through and meet the time, because I know some of you guys have been in here a while. So anyway, to start off, this is me. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but my background is in all sorts of operations, both global and startup. I've worked for several startup companies on the employee side, and now I own my own startup company now. So it's a difficult journey when you're working in entrepreneurship, whether you're the first 10 people in a company, or you're building your own company and risking it all, including your financial wealth. So it's not a joke. We're definitely going to have some fun here for the next 20 minutes, but it's serious stuff, and we want to make sure that you get as much out of it as you can. So ask any questions as we go through this. So that's about me. Turn it over to George.
Thank you, sir. I think I've met everybody at the Entrepreneurship Roundtable. My name is George Andriopoulos. I'll give you a little background on myself, and then we'll jump in. But first, I'm going to ask you, follow me at Launchpad CEO, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. I provide my corporate account at Launchpad 516 is stuff all about the company. This profile is a lot about what I do in terms of speaking, my business mindset, and a little bit of advice, free advice I do, and ask the business consultant Q&A very often on Twitter and Periscope and Instagram. So Launchpad 516 is a management consulting firm, so Patrick and I do the same thing for a living. Every company is a little bit unique. We are a company that focuses on people, right? For us, it starts with people. It's really about, as I mentioned during the roundtable, it's really about speaking to everybody in the company and getting a good line of communication going, and really having an honest, open dialogue in order to make the company productive and successful. So a few bullet points. I started in the healthcare industry, pharmacy industry for almost 13 years. I developed a reputation as a corporate turnaround artist. So I could go into a company that was failing. The last corporate pharma company that I worked for in Manhattan was doing about $22 million a year when I started with it at like an 8% profit margin. They were running like garbage. Within a year and a half, they were doing $38 million at a 29% profit margin. So this is what I did. I fixed that. I co-founded a nonprofit with my fellow board members in 2011 called Shannon's Fight. So we aid families in medical crisis. And then the list goes on. Launchpad 516 is the umbrella company. Media Convergence is the marketing agency. Rudy Greetings and the Rethink Tank are two smaller entities I'm involved in. And I recently acquired a partnership in Concierge 360. They were actually a client of mine, a small tech startup company. And it's basically an on-demand personal assistant service. So we're in the middle of building technology for that now. We're going to be launching it early next year. And yeah, so let's get started. Let's jump in.
Okay, good. So just like the true corporate executive, what is our objective? So in summary, we just want to give you as much learning as possible. Our learnings through our experiences, the challenges, the roadblocks, the disasters, and also the goals and successes and the positives that we've had. I was told a long time ago by a very big entrepreneur who was very successful always remember, and I know it's cliche, but it's really about the journey, not the destination. Pay attention to how you get there, because if you don't have fun, then you're probably not doing what you should be doing. Okay, so let's move on. George will take the good.
So the good, becoming an entrepreneur. Very difficult, very rewarding, and there's a lot of stuff in between there, right? So how many, I just want to show hands here, how many people here are entrepreneurs and started their own businesses? Wow, great, love it. So these are a few key bullets that Patrick and I had come up with, and we'll kind of jump through them quickly. I want to get through our agenda as quick as we can, so we can really open it up for a Q&A, because we didn't have too much time during the roundtable for that. Independence. This is, I mean, I don't know if this was the #1 reason for me, but a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners do it because they want to be their own boss. They can't work for anybody anymore. I know at this leg of my career, I don't think I can ever work for somebody else again. And that's a mix of, you know, kind of living the dream, building my own work-life balance, which I talked about, which is super important to me. Ideas. So the satisfaction of personal creativity, innovation, and ideation. So when you come up with that idea, you know, I think we all had that aha moment. You know, when you started your business, you started your concept, and you said, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna go full force. I'm gonna start this business. Seeing the satisfaction that comes from going from concept to delivery, concept to execution, it's one of the most satisfying feelings in the world. I'm sure a lot of you have felt it. I do what I do for a living in terms of Launchpad because I love seeing that feeling. I love helping other people accomplish that goal as well. So whether we're dealing with a startup or we're dealing with a company that's established but hasn't really realized their potential yet, you know, it's very important to me to see that journey for people and see them through it. Financially, we all want money, right? I mean, you know, it may not be about the money, but the money's got to be there. So personal financial success and wealth is one of the main reasons that we start businesses, one of the main reasons we become entrepreneurs. The connections, the ability to help organizations and people achieve their goals. I talked about this a little bit, but that helping aspect is important. And I always speak to my clients about this. When you get into a business, not just to make money, not just to do what you do, but to help other people, you can find the helping factor in any business, any product, really. I do what I do because my mission is to build commerce in the place I come from. I'm from Farmingdale, I'm a local guy, I love where I come from, I love Long Island, I want to see this place succeed. I do what I do because my mission is to build commerce in my home area, right? So that to me is so satisfying. So, you know, if you're a nurse or a doctor, it's very easy to see, you know, how you can help people with that. But really, when you think about it, any business is out there satisfying some kind of need, and you can really figure out, you know, what that helping factor is in a business. Taking risks. It's a great part of becoming an entrepreneur. It's also a scary part, and we'll talk about that. But seeing your ideas and your plans come to life, you know, no greater feeling than taking that risk and being successful at it. And of course, personal development. You know, my mindset is that I learn something every day. You know, if you're not learning something every day, you're doing something wrong. So the fact that I get to go out there and be a business owner and do what I do and learn a new lesson every day, it helps me grow. It helps me in terms of personal development, and it helps me become a better business owner, a better father, a better husband, a better human being. So that's important to me. So we're going to jump into the bad now, and I think you're going to see something interesting happen.
So I must have drawn this short straw to get the bad. But you'll notice here that George and I took the approach as we were talking through this that, wow, just about everything good is also something bad. So that's where we're going to go on this. It's a fact that more businesses shut down every year than start. And the failure rate over 5 years is greater than 50%. So it's a risk, and there's a lot of things that come into play that generate that risk, and I'm going to go through a few here. In terms of being independent, you're really the person accountable for everything. So your emotional strength, your physical strength, your mental health, all of that comes into play with your company. So, you know, as you can succeed based on hard work and good health, you can also fail due to poor health. So, I mean, you have risk due to the fact that it's all in your hands. Ideas, some of your ideas will work, some won't. and rejection is not good. I've been down that road a number of times in my life. You know, I've taken risks and, you know, gone home, tail between my legs, and couldn't believe that something I legitimately put effort and hard work into actually bombed, and historically. So you have to get over those, and entrepreneurs find a way to rebound. It's really important. Financial, I mean, anybody who has their own business here has not sweated and actually maybe sometimes cried over money, you're not running a business. I mean, you will have financial struggles. You will be tapping into credit cards. You will be calling family. You will be skipping dinners. You will be not taking vacations. Because there will be times where, you know, you have to manage that business to success, and it's not an easy road. The road is winding. Sometimes it's up and it's down. Your connections, they don't come as easy as you think. You know, if you're working for a company, you can make plenty of connections because there's bureaucratic, political, and you've got people who want to know you or work with you because of whatever. When you own your own business, you have to establish connections. You have to forge relationships. They don't just come to your doorstep. It's not going to happen. So the same thing, whereas, you know, the positive of making connections, not everybody's good at it. You know, there are some people that struggle with making connections. So I would recommend, if you are one of those people, network. Go to the chambers, go to the business groups, and push yourself to talk. It's like an AA meeting for people who are in business. You really need to discuss that. And by the way, they're there to help you in case you have issues, and they'll help walk you through it. Taking risks, as George pointed out, there's nothing better feeling than taking a risk and succeeding. But taking a risk means you will fail. And some of those failures, as I talked up above in terms of the ideas, you're gonna fail. So you get prepared for that. Some of those failures are worse than others, but it's gonna happen. And your personal development, you know, it impacts your life because you're gonna take time away. You don't invest zero into personal development. It actually takes you away from things that you may have to do, like selling and producing, and also your family. So know that personal development does not come without a cost. So all of these, the positives, the good, they're all the bad as well. I'm going to turn it over to George, where he's going to talk about the ugly.
So this is what it's all about, right? This defines you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. If you can get past the ugly, you can make it, right? So building a business will test your resolve, your strength, your faith, of course. We all know it's a risk to jump into your own business. I think one of the most crushing blows in terms of the ugly side of business is your dreams and having your dreams crushed if something doesn't work out, right? So correlating hopes and aspirations for the business with the marketplace, it doesn't always align. We talked a little bit at the roundtable about the factors that make you go into business, and Patrick had pointed out that if there's a need and you can fill it, it's a good business, right? You can get a little deeper in that. There's a need and you have a skill set that can fill it. A lot of times people jump in to fill a need that they're not necessarily qualified to do. You know, when I started my business, corporate turnaround artist, management consulting, businesses in need, it made sense for me, right? I've had situations where I failed, big time. I had, and I don't consider them failures, they're just learning experiences, right? You saw on there, on my bullet list there, a company called Rudy Greetings. That was a greeting card company that a couple of friends and I had 3 partners in the company. One is here right now. We came up with, and the idea, funny enough, the idea came when I was, 19, 20 years old, and a drunken stupor in a bar and laughing and coming up with an idea for a humorous greeting card company. And we launched it and we executed it, and I think we did a great job of it. And it was really during the process of R&D for us where we realized maybe we need to walk away from this, because what we think is funny isn't funny to other people. And we came up with products, and you know, and it was a little more risque humor, right? And we jumped in and we made some prototypes, and I think we had like 9 prototypes, and man, did we have some laughs. And then we kind of focus grouped it with people we knew, and it was not funny apparently. They did not laugh. So we took a little breather and we said, you know what, maybe let's walk away from this one for now. So, and it was a little crushing because I was excited about it. It was something that I can get involved with my friend in and start another business, and it was exciting, but because I did it in a calculated way, we all did it in a calculated way, it was a small investment for us to jump into it, and we really, we managed those expectations. We were able to get out in time so that it wasn't crushing to us financially, it was more crushing to our pride. Work-life balance, I spoke about this at the roundtable. This to me is key. You will have times when you're an absentee parent, spouse, friend. I implore you to focus on this, and I'm saying this out of experience because I lost a lot during the first half of my career to an improper work-life balance. I got to a point where it cost me a marriage, it cost me a lot in terms of my career, and I really became a person that I was not a fan of. That was the biggest thing for me. I developed a really big ego and thought I was the best thing since sliced bread, and come to find we're all replaceable, and we're not necessarily special unless we decide to stand out in the right way. If you don't handle that work-life balance correctly, it can be crushing, but it's never say never, right? There's always time to change, and there's always time to turn it around. That work-life balance is different for all of us. For me, it was about spending more time at home, kind of working myself as a person, and what came from a proper work-life balance was a better relationship with my kids, a better company, a better work life. I met my wife now, and I can't even explain how important it is to focus on this. Investment, it speaks for itself. You can lose everything if you don't do it the right way. You can lose everything. Your personal finances will be impacted as you build your business. You stick it out, you research, you do things the right way, you'll get through it. Right? But this is the ugly part. Partners. I think a lot of us have dealt with this. How many people here have partners in businesses? How many people had partners? Yeah, me too. That's it. I'm going to mic drop on that one. Because that's pretty much the end. Suppliers. You'll need to trust many suppliers and vendors, and some will let you down. Your business is only as good as the team around it, right? And that's not just the internal team, it's the people you align yourself with in business. I have heard countless stories that were horror stories, nightmares in businesses, because people relied on suppliers and vendors that let them down. Align yourself with the right people. And then competition. It's really how you look at it. Some competitors will stop at nothing to destroy your business, your brand, your personal image. It can be really crushing, right? So if you have a mindset like I do, where I don't really believe in competition, I don't believe that competition is bad, I should say. I know there's competition out there. I don't think that we should have this competitive, angry nature. I think we should support each other as business owners. There's plenty of business for everybody out there. All right, so I'll leave it to Patrick now to sum up.
Okay, so George and I spent quite a bit of time on the phone discussing what's the salient points of this discussion. What should you take away? And it's not just about all the things that we said. There are some things that are actually more meaningful than others, but here it is. Research, plan, and study. Preparation for owning a business, starting a business, or managing a business. I don't care where you're at. I don't care how many years you've been in business. If you're not planning that business, if you don't have a living business plan, you're going to have more work on yourself. So keep a document. It doesn't need to be, 150 pages. It just needs to keep you focused on the very things that you need to be focused on, and also a reflection back to say, hey, this business model has changed. My plan has changed, and I need to update that. So that's one of the key things. The other thing is you can't put one toe in, one foot in, one leg in. You got to jump in. No business, no successful business was half done. It just wasn't. If it happened that way, it's an aberration. It's not a real way to build a business. Expect micro failures. We know things go wrong. I mean, I'm experiencing it. If you're in business, which most of you are, you have, people who you know who are in business. They're always talking about the things that go wrong, and it's what you deal with those, how you deal with them, how you recover from them, And you have to keep moving forward because the experiences, the negative experiences of owning a business is that you will have bad days. Things won't work. And you're going to have to get up and put your pants on and go to work the next day. You should prepare your friends and family. It impacts them. It's not a neutral situation. It's like if you go to work 9 to 5 today and you decide to start your own business tomorrow, it will be a different situation. It will take a toll on your friends and family. You should let them know so that they can help support you. People want to support people, but if they don't understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and also to embrace, the life aspect of it, you're left alone. You don't want to be on that ship alone. So make sure you get support. And also, and I keep, reiterating this, network with other entrepreneurs. There are tons of groups out there. Who belongs to a business group? Who's active in the business group? I define active as actually participating meaningfully in both dialogue and in the committees and things like that. Good, because that's really important. Because that also helps you understand what networking is, and it brings you to a place where you can actually develop not only your own skills, but also your contacts and your business in general. And the last thing is, if you're not having fun, and I said this before, you shouldn't be doing it. If you're managing your own business and you are not happy, and others around you see that, maybe you should ask your family, friends, what do you think? And they tell you, listen, I don't know, you're a changed person, you should either reflect on that and understand why it is, or get out, because no good business succeeds from being miserable. It's not gonna happen. So anyway, those are our takeaways, the main takeaways from all of the discussion. Now we want to open it up for Q&A.
We'll do a quick Q&A because I think we have to move, but I want to make a quick shout out here. Does anybody here have kids that watch Blue's Clues growing up? Does anybody know remember the character Paprika? Yeah. So one of my clients just walked in the room, and I want you to meet her right now. That's Pepperoni Martin. She is the person that Paprika was named after.
Nice.
That's a true story.
That's a 23-year-old will definitely remember that.
All right, so let's go around some questions. Yes.
Is there a difference between sort of your personal business plan and the business plan that you have to show a bank for a loan?
Yeah, so I'll jump into that. There shouldn't be. So there's a financial end that goes deeper in terms of investment, but I'm a firm believer in that business plan. When you build it, that should be a roadmap for your business from day one until the day you end, right? Because you should be able to pick that thing up in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and be on that same path. And if you're not, you should be able to fix yourself. Now, it goes a little bit deeper in terms of what investors are looking for, but the basic plan is the same.
So how do you determine as you're growing your business whether it makes sense to hire more admin people or more salespeople?
Well, when you look at the business, you got to look at what the needs are. Hiring is really important because that's going to take, its expense, its benefits potentially, or whatever. It's no joke, obviously. You need to know what the scope of the work is that the person's going to do. So whatever you're building and whatever you find the void is in terms of growth, it could be on the sales end, it could be on the operations end, it could be in the finance end. You need to know that as the owner. And you need to then understand what level of skills and roadmap those skills to somebody's experience and hire appropriately. I call it right size hiring and and there's a lot of mistakes in that entrepreneurs make, because when they get funding or they have a lot of seed money, they go out, they just start locking and loading. I saw a company a month ago that had 16 VPs, it was a $3 million company. I couldn't believe it. And a friend of mine had contacted me and said, I'm thinking about jumping over to the company, and I'm like, why? Because I don't even, they had 5 C-suite positions that were paid. They were not partners or, just titles. So really hiring is important. Make sure you understand what that need is. You know it if you own a business. I need administrative help, I need finance help, and sometimes you can cross over and get both. And those are important factors to make the decision.
And we'll do one more question, then we'll wrap up.
When it's an ugly day or a bad day, what do you guys personally do to get snap back into it?
That's a great question. there's a lot that goes into that. I have been in this business for about 6-7 years now, right? And there's 365 days in a year. If there's not at least 100 days during every year that I don't wake up in a cold sweat thinking, how am I going to work this out tomorrow? You know, it's not a good year, right? So for me, I've gotten to a point where I've kind of seen it and done it all in terms of failures and successes, and I'm learning every day. But I've gotten to a point where there's a certain belief you have to have in yourself as an entrepreneur and as an expert in what you do. When you own a business, you need to have that mindset of, I do it better than anybody else, right? So it's a little bit of ego, but it's more you need that push to grow. So I've got painted into corners where I have to kind of step out of the situation and say, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to fix this, but I work it out every time. So I just kind of have to let go and work it out, let it happen on its own. And it almost every time it does work itself out, and I figure out the solution to it. But there's a lot of faith in yourself that goes with that. That's my answer to it.
Yeah, I will add to one thing, and it's for me, it's the 2 F's, family and fun. I get right out of it, I pull myself out of it, and I may be miserable, but if I put myself around family and I do something for fun, by the time I'm done with that, I'm usually out of it. So I will disconnect automatically. You don't want to actually go off. A lot of people go off and become alone. That's the last thing you want to do. Go to your family and have fun, the 2 F's.